Okay, we're going to talk about those bowls that you saw and how to do them. And I'm going to show you the materials I collected to make that happen. You might not have exactly what I have. But first of all, I did make this, right? I talked about this before, but you'll need one of these to make those type of bowls that you saw. And then I picked this little bowl, plastic bowl I use for kids in my house, and because I like that scale circumference, so that's going to be my circle cut. Then I just gathered some stuff in my house. Like, I love puzzles, so I gathered some puzzle pieces that I'm going to use to make the sort of indentation pattern that you saw on some of those. I collected some old coins that I'm going to use or try to use for patterns. And then the last thing I collected was this rubber thing that went around like it went around a cup of some sort, and it has this pattern like ribbly on one side and then squares on the other. And I thought, well, I can use that to press in the clay and make a pattern. The last thing I need is some tape and my wire tool. Well, I mean, I'm going to use the wire tool for an unintended purpose. So the first thing I want to do is I want to measure the circumference of my circle. And like, there's lots of ways to do that properly, but they're all difficult. So what I do to measure circumference is I use a like a string, and in this case the wire tool, and I wrap it around the edge. It's a little tricky, like, no doubt. Actually, I know I'm not as dumb as I could be. Sometimes I'm smart, sometimes I'm dumb, but I'm going to just temporarily tape it. You can use any kind of tape. I'm going to use this for the thickness of the sides of my bowls, but you could, and I'll tell you why in a minute, but you could change this in lots of different ways. But I'm going to just take a little bit here, just so I can have a hands-free situation. I'm going to tape this edge right to here, okay? And then I'm going to just use this along the edge, and I'm just spreading it out. Can you see? I'm just going around the edge until until I hit back to the to where the wire tool comes in, and then I put my finger there, like I'm measuring it. I put my finger where they hit each other, and then I release. So now I know. Now I'm going to take this tape and I'm going to put it right here, like that. It's just a temporary. But this is how long, right, the circumference of my circle is. That goes all the way around. Now, the tricky part of making a template like this, and I'm gonna just temporarily put that on there. The problem with getting something like that is that you probably don't have a piece of paper that long. You may have cardboard in your house that long. Like, I would use a piece of cardboard and you could measure. But it also depends on how high you want the pieces of, or the sides of the bowl to be. And in my opinion, they weren't terribly long. So I'm going to use tape to make my edges. Now, they're not going to be perfect, because if you want If you want the bowl to go out like this, then you have to angle cut the ends. If you want it to go in like this, you have to cut them in the other way. So let me explain a little bit what that looks like. It looks like this. When you have a template and you're building ceramic somethings or another's, right? If you want the edges of something to go out, you cut it semicircular and you cut it like that and it goes out. Now those bowls don't have that kind of cone shape. They did go a little bit like this, but it all depends on how you want it to be. So see how this edge, right, when wrapped around like this, will have that, excuse me, that conical shape, right? So that's where the trick comes in. So we're going to kind of make something that works in this capacity the best we can. The narrower it is, the less curved your slab needs to be. But ultimately, it won't be as hard as you think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the tape to be the height of my edge. So I could do that by getting my tape, right? I'm going to just double it on itself. I could tape a piece of paper in here. I could blah, blah, blah. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just double it onto itself, being very careful to get it sort of even. Okay, so I'm just laying it down. I mean, for you it might be easy to just cut it out of cardboard, but this is just, maybe I'm going to be dumb. I don't know. We'll see if it works. You have to kind of double it on itself properly, making sure you have it long enough to do, which I do. Then I'm going to cut it. So essentially this will be the edge. I'm leaving it a little bit longer than I need it to be, right? Or that I measured it to be. Kind of messed it up, so I'm just gonna fold it over on itself. So it's the evenness. Yeah, I don't like that. I'm gonna try that again. It's supposed to be an easy way to, a quick, easy way to do it, and it is if I just let's do it this way. Okay, because I know that you have this. So I'm going to take the packing tape. Doesn't matter what kind of tape I use. Right? All I'm doing is creating a template. Like, and then you have your paper. I'm just going to put the tape on the paper. You might have to do 2 sheets. So I put the tape is long enough to cover this to this, right? Now I'm just gonna rip the edge off of it, and same on this side. Okay. I got some little frayed pieces. I can use my scissors. I was just being kind of lazy. Lazy, where did I put my scissors? And that is what I want to know right here. Okay, I'm just going to trim. And so all I did was make a template of something that's really evenly consistent and long. And I just did tape to do it because it was easy. But I'm not going to angle the edge quite yet. So all this is like enough to go around here. I will cut it to length in a moment. And that worked better than doubling the tape in half. So anyway, I have a nice even 2-inch strip. If you wanted your bowl's height to be bigger, you could change this. Put 2 pieces of tape or whatnot, but I like this height. Okay, so I have my strip here, my piece here, my stuff I'm going to use, and now I'm going to roll out a slab. I also have this marked. Let me get my slab stuff. Excuse me. I think in the picture they used red clay. You could switch and use red clay. I'm just not going to bother because I already got this out and switch my tools yet. Be all funky because I got many classes going in white clay right now. So I just cut off my hunk, right? And I know I'm going to need a slab that's at least this long, right? Like I can't do it in multiple pieces. So that's pretty helpful to know that your slab needs to be this long. So I always stretch my clay by throwing it out right on an angle. And I'm just doing that by stretching. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and do some rolling pins action. And again, when you're doing something this long, right, this is as long as my board, I need to start from the center. I need to have room and not be so messy. I need to start from the center and work out. So I'm not rolling the whole length of the clay. I start from the center out and then I work from the center towards myself. And you have to put some pressure on this. I need to clean up. Lord. I'm going to flip it. Seriously, I need to clean up. Flip it again. It's already going off my board, so I know it's long enough, but I want it to get even. Nice. And even. Okay. First thing I'm going to do before anything is I'm going to cut my circle shape, making sure, yeah. So I'm going to cut my circle shape. I'm using that tool this time, but you have so many cutting tools in your kit that whatever you grab is fine. As long as you keep it straight up and down while you're tracing your little, whatever you picked to be your round. Right? So I'm going to take that and I'm going to put it right inside my puck, right? But to just make sure it's just tapped into there. I'm going to let it sit in there to the side and get leather hard. And now I'm going to do some work on texturing. I'm going to move this down just a little bit before I do that. In my bag. And just stretch out the rest of that so that it was just hanging off the edge of my board because it was so long. I'm just resizing it. Okay, and I feel like, so I'm gonna, if I want to do the coins in here and this, I need to put down some powder. And flour works. Cornstarch works really good. But some sort of powder that might help those stickier surfaces not stick to the clay. So I put a little bit flour, not very much, right? You don't want it, you just want it to prevent it from sticking. And then I could use this as a stamp and make some circle impressions, right? But I don't really like that. It's not my jam. I'm going to try this guy. I mean, that is seriously cool. And I like it. But I want to try, I mean, I'm really, like, I love puzzles too. So I want to see what this looks like if I do that. I'm going to use my rolling pin. Use my small rolling pin. My rolling pin on the surface to just get it, to indent it. And like, so I also really like the puzzle piece. So I'm going to do a line of puzzle pieces because I don't know if you know this about me, but I am cool enough to have a puzzle team. Okay. And we're called Tap Tap, and we do puzzles and see how fast we can get them done. And, you know, we even been competitive before, which is, I know, it's just so cool. Yeah. Anyway, we've never won. We've come in 4th place, but, so I really just want to use the puzzle pieces. So I'm kind of making a line of them, and I'm gonna roll it into my clay. Yeah. See, that's so cool. You don't know, but jigsaw puzzles, it's where it's at. I don't even, that's not very straight, but I mean, no. Not everything's perfect. You know, another thing you can really use is if you have like rubber stamps that you do, you know, like that. I have ink pads and patterns. Those work really great for making indentations or whatever in clay. So now I have this indented in here, and I want to cut this, and I definitely want to cut this after I make the indentions, because the indentions will change the shape of my clay, right? So I line that up. I'm going to use the tape as my template. That was the whole point of the big tape fiasco. Oops, I'm offline. Okie dokie, so this part I'm going to store or wrap up again. And I mean, though you probably want to make more than one of these, you will have to go slow because you only have one puck, right? So, I'm wrapping up that clay for further purpose. I lift that up and it has my cute little pattern in it. And then I'm gonna wet there, I didn't want it to stay. I'm gonna just let it sit here at 2 hours probably, and then I'm gonna come back and check. You know, you could make this go faster if you went outside, but I'm not in a rush. And this should be a little bit, not much, but a teeny bit harder than this, and not terribly, but just a teeny bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just come back in 2 hours and check them, and then decide if I'm ready to put this on. You know, this is what's going to happen is I'm going to put it on like this, right? And have my bowl. So this needs to be flexible, but not as wet as it is right now. So and I might, anyway, my puzzle pieces are kind of cute. Okay, see you in 2 hours.